All right, how's everybody doing tonight or this morning? Why am I thinking it's nighttime? It's morning time. Okay, already off to a good start. Okay, so these are some notes from classes that I have recently taught, and the levels range from very basic English to very advanced English, where we are just focusing on pronunciation or advanced vocabulary. So we will start with a very basic class that I did, and then we will move on to other more advanced things. If you're watching this live, then and you have a question, please, I encourage you to make your question in the comments, and I will be happy to answer them. I love it when you ask questions, so please don't feel afraid or ashamed to make a question. Just go ahead and write it. All right, so let's get started. With every very basic class that I do, I always start with a little exercise. It takes about 5 minutes. Just practicing. It practices the days of the week. It practices some numbers. And most importantly, it practices different basic verb tenses and vocabulary, or how to make a question and a negative. So let's start with that. So we have 3 sentences here. Number 1, yesterday was Saturday, March 23rd. Can you read that? Can you say that too? Yesterday was Saturday, March 23rd. And then we have number 2. Let's read number 2. Today is Sunday, March 24th. Today is Sunday, March 24th. And number 3, let's read number 3. Tomorrow will be Monday, March 25th. All right, now comes the hard part. I'm going back to number 1, and I am going to ask you a question. So you have to listen. This is about listening also. This helps you to improve your listening. So listen to my question, and then answer the question in the correct way. Was yesterday Tuesday, March 23rd? Was yesterday Tuesday, March 23rd? Was yesterday Tuesday, March 23rd? What is the answer? What is the answer to that question? No. How will you answer in the negative? How will you make a negative sentence? No, yesterday. No, yesterday was not. No, yesterday wasn't. No, yesterday wasn't Tuesday, March 23rd. And when you say the word Tuesday, make sure you are giving a kiss. You have to kiss when you say Tuesday. Tuesday. If you don't kiss, if you don't say Tuesday, mwah, kiss. If you don't say Tuesday, sometimes it will sound like you're saying Thursday. So make sure that you give a kiss. Yesterday was Tuesday, March 23rd. All right, now let's take a look at number 2. I'm going to ask you a question about number 2. Is today Wednesday? Is today Wednesday, March 24th? Is today Wednesday, March 24th? Listen to my question. Is today Monday, March 24th? What is the correct answer for that question? How will you answer my question? No. No, today is not. No, today's not. No, today isn't. No, today isn't no, today isn't Wednesday, March 24th. No, today isn't Wednesday, March 24th. What day is today? What day is today? What day is today? Today is Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. Sorry, today's Sunday. Today's Sunday, March 24th. Today's Sunday, March 24th. All right, now let's move on to number 3. Can you make a question? Ask me, tomorrow Friday? How will you make that question? Do you know how to make a question with will? Can you ask me, tomorrow Friday? I'll give you a minute to think about how to make the question. Will tomorrow be? Will tomorrow be Friday? Will tomorrow be Friday? Will tomorrow be Friday, March 25th? Will tomorrow be Friday, March 25th? How will you answer no to that question? No. No, tomorrow. Tomorrow will not be. Tomorrow won't be. Tomorrow won't be Friday. Tomorrow won't be Friday, March 25th. Tomorrow won't be Friday, March 25th. How will you make a what day tomorrow be question? What day tomorrow be? What day will tomorrow, what day will tomorrow be? What day will, what day'll, that's how it sounds in spoken English. What day'll tomorrow be? What day'll tomorrow be? What day will tomorrow be? Tomorrow will be Monday, March 25th. Tomorrow will be Monday, March 25th. Okay, great. Now, we always practice, just for a few minutes, some numbers. So we'll just go through these numbers very quickly. How do you say the first number at the top of the screen? That is 40, 40,000, 40,000. 41,000, 42,000, 43,000, 44,000, 45,000, 46,000, 47,000, 48,000, 49,000. Now let's take this number in bold and let's go through the following numbers. We've got 45,000, 45,700, 45,730, 45,731, 45,732, 45,733, 45,734, 45,735, 45,736, 45,737, 45,738, 45,739. Okay, now I'm going to say a number in the 10,000s, and try to listen. Try to understand what is the number I'm saying. Write it in the chat. Write it in the chat if you know which number I'm saying. Okay, so here is a number. 52,573. 52,573. What number am I saying? Can you write that? Write it in the chat. Nobody's going to write, so I'll just write it out here and see. Let's see. So did you guess correctly? I'm just going to type it down here at the bottom, and then I'll show you what the number was. 52,573. Let's see, can you see that? Where is it? There it is, 52,573. Okay, let's try one more. Let's do one more number. Try to write it. I would really like it if somebody would write the number in the chat to see if they're correct. Here's a new number. Try to write it down. Test your listening. 68,982. 68,982. 68,982. Can somebody write that? Namgyen said 52,573, and that was correct. And Namgyen also wrote 68,994. Well, that was close, Namgyen, but a little bit off. Not exactly right. Here's the number here. 68,982. 68,982. Oh, we've got Nishi Verma. Hello, Nishi. How are you doing today? Okay, now let's 69,594. No, sorry, Namgyen. It's 68,000. You can see it written. I have it written down here now. You can see the correct answer on the screen. 68,982. Sorry, buddy. Maybe next time. Okay, now we're just going to practice some very basic English sentences, okay? You're going to have to listen because I'm going to ask you to do some things. I'm going to ask you to change these sentences, okay? So here is a sentence which is, actually, I don't want you to look at this right now because first I want you to listen and try to repeat without seeing the words to improve your listening, okay? So here's a sentence. I want you to try to repeat the sentence. Very basic English, okay? I wake up early every morning. I wake up early every morning. I wake up early every morning. If you want to type it in the chat to see if you're correct, I would love to see what you heard. What did you hear me say? I wake up early every morning. I wake up early every morning. I wake up early every morning. Let's make a yes-no question with this sentence. I wake up early every morning. I wake up early every morning. Namgyen says, I wake up early every morning. That's right, Namgyen. Can you make a yes-no question with I wake up early every morning? How do you, Constantine says the same thing. That's right. I wake up early every morning. Make a yes-no question. How will you make a yes-no question? Let's say you, not I. So, do you wake up? Do you wake up early? Do you wake up early every morning? Do you wake up early every morning? How do you answer no? No. No, I. Give me a full sentence. No, I. No, I don't. No, I don't wake up. No, I don't wake up early every morning. Okay. But now let's say, but tomorrow, wake up early. Namgyen says, I don't, which is fine. That's very typical. In normal English, that's how you answer. You say, no, I don't no, I don't. Do you wake up early every morning? No, I don't. But we're practicing speaking. It's really important to say the full sentence because you want to practice using all of those words, putting all of the words together. So when you answer in class, it's a good idea to practice answering the entire sentence, to rewire your brain to put together all of the words. This is how you become more fluent. So in class, we should answer, no, I don't wake up early every morning. No, I don't wake up early every morning. Even though in real life, you say, no, I don't. Okay, so now let's say, but tomorrow I wake up early. We're going to talk, so we're talking about the future. Let's use will, because there are different futures. We'll just use will. How will you tell me tomorrow, future, wake up early, using will? But tomorrow, I will wake up early. But tomorrow, I will wake up early. No, I don't wake. So that's good. No, I don't wake. Namgyen says, no, I don't wake up early every morning, but tomorrow I will wake up early. That's wonderful. That's exactly what I want. But don't read it. Try to say it. This is the thing about improving your fluency. Don't look at the words. Try to say that very quickly from your head without looking at words. No, I don't wake up early every morning, but tomorrow I will wake up early. Try to say all of that together. This is how you put the words together and you become more fluent. Okay, so our new sentence is, I will wake up early tomorrow. I'll wake up early tomorrow. I'll wake up early tomorrow. Okay, let's make a yes-no question with I will wake up early tomorrow. How will you make the question? How do you ask that question? Will I, or let's say will you. Let's use you. Will you wake up? Will you wake up early tomorrow? Will you wake up early tomorrow? Will you wake up early tomorrow? How will you answer no? No. No, I won't. No, I will not. No, I won't. No, I will not. No, I won't wake up. No, I won't wake up early tomorrow. No, I won't wake up early tomorrow. Okay. Let's see. Oh, okay. Let's make a when wake up question. When wake up. When wake up early. When wake up early. Namgyen says he's going. Thanks for watching. Hope you watch again, Namgyen. Okay. So we make a when wake up. When wake up question. When wake up early. When will you? When will you? When will you wake? When will you wake up? When will you wake up early? When will you wake up early? Let's say next week. I will wake up early next week. Okay. Now let's try a new sentence. Again, I don't want you to read the answer because I want you to practice listening. Okay? So I'm going to say a sentence and I want you to repeat it. I want you to listen. Right now I'm speaking slowly in my classroom voice, but I want you to listen to typical spoken English. Try to understand what I'm saying. She drinks coffee for breakfast. She drinks coffee for breakfast. She drinks coffee for breakfast. Do you understand what I'm saying? Can you repeat what I'm saying? If someone can write in the chat what I'm saying, that would be wonderful. If they think they understand what I'm saying. She drinks coffee for breakfast. She drinks coffee for breakfast. She drinks coffee for breakfast. There's our answer. Can you see? She drinks coffee for breakfast. How will you ask a yes-no question with she drinks coffee for breakfast? She drinks coffee for breakfast. Does she? Does she drink? Does she drink coffee? Does she drink coffee for breakfast? Does she drink coffee for breakfast? How do you answer no? No. No, she. No, she does not drink. No, she doesn't drink. No, she doesn't drink coffee for breakfast. No, she doesn't drink coffee for breakfast. Now let's say, but last week, coffee for breakfast. How will you say that? Last week she... What is the past of drink? Last week she drank. 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 Last week she drank coffee. Last week she drank coffee for breakfast. So, no, she doesn't drink coffee for breakfast, but last week she drank coffee for breakfast. No, she doesn't drink coffee for breakfast, but last week she drank coffee for breakfast. Now our sentence is, last week she drank coffee for breakfast. How will you make a yes-no question with she drank coffee for breakfast? Did she? Did she drink? Did she drink? Did she drink coffee? Did she drink coffee? Did she drink coffee for breakfast? Did she drink coffee for breakfast? Did she drink coffee for breakfast last week? Let's answer no. How would you answer no to that question? No, she. No, she didn't. No, she didn't drink. No, she didn't drink coffee for breakfast. No, she didn't drink coffee for breakfast. How will you make a what drink last week for breakfast? You make a what question. What she drink last week? What? What did she? What did she drink? What did she drink for breakfast? What did she drink for breakfast last week? What did she drink for breakfast last week? Let's say orange juice. She drank orange juice for breakfast. She drank orange juice for breakfast last week. She drank orange juice for breakfast last week. All right, here's a new sentence. Again, do not read the writing here. Just listen, practice listening. Try to repeat what I'm saying. They walk to school together. 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 Can you repeat what I'm saying? They walk to school together. They walk to school together. Do they? Sorry. Let's make a yes-no question. Oh, wait. I have to show you. I'm jumping ahead of myself. I think I'm drinking too much coffee, and now I have too much energy. I'm jumping ahead. All right. So we have they walk to school together. Can you make a yes-no question with that sentence? They walk to school together. How would you ask a yes/no question? Do they walk? Do they walk to school? Do they walk to school? Do they walk to school together? Let's answer no. No. No, they don't. No, they don't walk to school. No, they don't walk to school together. Now let's say, but this morning, they, how would you say walk in the past? They walked. That's difficult for people to pronounce. You have to do 3 steps. Walk, stop, t, walk, t, walked, walked. That's very difficult for people to pronounce. They walked to school this morning. They walked to school together this morning. They walked to school together this morning. Now, that's our new sentence. They walked to school together this morning. Can you make a yes/no question with that sentence? Did they? Did they walk? Did they walk to school? Did they walk to school together? Did they walk to school together this morning? Did they walk to school together this morning? Did they walk? Did they walk to school together this morning? Answer no. How will you answer no to that question? No, they. No, they didn't. No, they didn't walk. No, they didn't walk to school. No, they didn't walk to school together. No, they didn't walk to school together this morning. No, they didn't walk to school together this morning. Now, let's say tomorrow. Let's answer tomorrow. But tomorrow walk together. How will you say that in the future using will? Tomorrow they will. Tomorrow they will walk together. Tomorrow they will walk together. Tomorrow they will walk to school together. That's 2 twos. To school together. They will walk to school together tomorrow. They'll walk to school together tomorrow. They'll walk to school together tomorrow. How will you ask a yes/no question with they will walk together to school tomorrow? How will you ask a yes/no question with they will walk together to school tomorrow? Will they? Will they walk? Will they walk together? Will they walk together to school? Will they walk together to school? Will they walk together to school tomorrow? Mikhail says hello. Hello, Mikhail. How are you doing today? I didn't see your question the other day when you said, what is your dog's name? I saw that later. My dog's name is Gizmo. That's his name. Okay, so we have will they walk together to school tomorrow? Will they walk together to school tomorrow? Answer no. How will you answer no to that question? No, they will. No, they will not. No, they will not. No, they won't. No, they won't walk together to school tomorrow. No, they won't walk together to school tomorrow. Let's make a where they walk question. Where they walk tomorrow. Where? Where will they? Where will they walk? Where will they walk together tomorrow? Let's say to the store. They will walk. They'll walk. They'll walk to the store. They'll walk to the store tomorrow. They'll walk together to the store tomorrow. Okay. Now here's a new sentence. So again, I want you to practice listening. Try to hear what I'm saying. Try to repeat what I'm saying. He reads a book before bed. He reads a book before bed. He reads a book before bed. He reads a book. Reads a book. He reads a book. He reads a book before bed. He reads a book before bed. Let me just put that up here now. Now you can look at it, now that you've repeated it, I hope. He reads a book before bed. How will you make a yes/no question with that sentence? Does he read? Listen to how that sounds in spoken English. Does he read? Does he read? Does he read? Does he read? Does he read a book? Does he Does he read a? This is how it sounds. Does he read a? Does he read a? Does he read a? Does he read a book? Does he read a book before bed? Does he read a book before bed? How will you answer no to that question? No. No, he. No, he does not. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. No, he. No, he. No, he. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't read a book before bed. Now let's say, but yesterday, read a book before, yesterday, read a book. But yesterday, he, what is the past of read? Read. 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 But yesterday, he read a. Listen to how that sounds in spoken English. But yesterday, he read a. But yesterday, he read a. But yesterday, he read a book. 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 That's our new sentence. Yesterday, he read a book. Yesterday, he read a book. Can you make a yes-no question with that sentence? Yesterday, he read a book. Did he read a? Did he read a? Did he read a? Did he read a book? Did he read a book yesterday? Did he read a book yesterday? Did he read a book yesterday? Let's answer no. No, no, he did not. No, he didn't. No, he didn't read a. No, he didn't read a. No, he didn't read a book yesterday. No, he didn't read a book yesterday. Now let's change the answer. Let's say, but, where did we go? But tomorrow, read a book. How will you say that in the future? But tomorrow, he read book. But tomorrow, he will. But tomorrow, he will read a. But tomorrow, he'll 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 read a book. But tomorrow, he will read a book. But tomorrow, he'll read a book. But tomorrow, he'll read a book. That's typical. Unfortunately, that's typical spoken English. That's how it sounds. But tomorrow, he'll read a book. So it's a little bit different from, but tomorrow, he will read a book. But tomorrow, he'll read a book. Okay. Let's make a yes/no question with he will read a book tomorrow. He'll read a book tomorrow. Will he read a book tomorrow? That's right. Mikhail has done the question, and that's correct. Will he read a book tomorrow? Let's answer no. No, he will not. No, he won't. No, he won't read a book tomorrow. Okay. Now let's make a what read tomorrow. What read tomorrow? What will he read? What will he read? What will he read? What'll he read? What will he? What'll he? That's real. That's how people talk. What'll he read tomorrow? What'll he read tomorrow? Let's answer a report. He will read a report. He will read a. He'll read a report tomorrow. He'll read a report tomorrow. Okay, now we have one more basic practice, and then we're going to move on to a much more advanced lesson. Okay, so this is our final basic exercise for today. Okay, here's a new sentence, and I want you to listen to the sentence. Try to repeat it. Try to understand what I'm saying, because I'm going to say it in regular, normal spoken English, not my classroom English, like I'm talking now, but normal, typical English. Here is a new sentence. Try to repeat it. We eat dinner at 6 p.m. 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 Can you repeat it? Do you know what I'm saying? We eat dinner at 6 p.m. We eat dinner at 6 p.m. I'll show you the sentence now. We eat. We eat. Now, it ends with a vowel sound, and eat starts with a vowel sound. So you put a big E in the middle. We eat. You have to put like a new sound in there to separate the two words. You can stop if you want. You can say we eat. But most people will put the two words together and say we eat. We eat. Extra sound to separate the two words. We eat dinner at 6 p.m. We eat dinner at 6 p.m. How will you make a yes/no question with we eat dinner at 6 p.m.? Do we? Do we eat? Again, we eat. Do we eat? Do we eat? Do we eat dinner at 6 p.m.? Let's answer no. No, we don't. No, we don't eat. No, we don't eat. No, we don't eat dinner at 6 p.m. Now let's say but tonight, future tonight. But tonight, how will you say eat in the future using will? But tonight we will eat. We will eat. We'll eat. But tonight we'll eat dinner at 6. But tonight we'll eat dinner at 6. But tonight we'll eat dinner at 6 p.m. This is our new sentence. We will eat dinner at 6 p.m. We'll eat dinner at 6 p.m. We will eat dinner at 6 p.m. Make a yes/no question with that sentence. Will we? Will we eat? Will we eat dinner tonight? Will we eat dinner tonight at 6? Will we eat dinner tonight at 6? Let's answer no. No, we will not. No, we won't. No, we won't eat dinner at 6 tonight. No, we won't eat dinner at 6 tonight. Okay. Can you make let's say, but a few days ago, that means maybe 2 days in the past. Ago means in the past. A few days ago, how will you tell me eat dinner at 6 a few days ago? A few days in the past. What is the past of eat? Ate. We ate. And again, we have this we plus ate. You have to say we ate. We ate. We ate. We ate dinner a few days ago at 6. Or we ate dinner at 6 a few days ago. We ate dinner at 6 a few days ago. Okay, now let's make a yes/no question with we ate dinner at 6. How will you make a yes/no question with we ate dinner at 6? Did we eat? Did we eat? Did we eat dinner? Did we eat dinner at 6? Did we eat dinner at 6? Let's answer no. No, we didn't. No, we didn't eat. No, we didn't eat dinner. No, we didn't eat dinner at 6. Okay. Now let's make a what time eat dinner question. And this is in the past. This is in the past. What time did we? What time did we eat? What time did we eat dinner? What time did we eat dinner a few days ago? What time did we eat dinner a few days ago? Let's say 7. We ate dinner. We ate dinner at 7 a few days ago. Okay, now this is the end of a very basic class. It's very basic English. And now we're moving on to a pretty advanced class. This is a very advanced guy. And we were doing an exercise in a book. I don't want to show you the exercise. I don't want to get into any kind of copyright trouble. So we'll just have to look at the notes and imagine what it says in the book, I guess. Okay. And what we were doing is we were taking words and seeing what kind of endings, what kind of suffix we could put at the end of a word. So, for example, we have this word alternate. No, actually, I don't want to show you the answers so we can look at them. let me rearrange this so that you can't see the answer. We already have the answer for the first one. We have alternate, which is an adjective. Alternate means like an extra. It's more than extra, though. I'm not sure what word I can put here. I'm just going to look up. Alternate means something extra that you can use that's the same as something else. But let me find a better definition. Let me see. Occur in turn repeatedly. Alternate, every second. Let's say it means like a second thing. When you have an alternate car, it's like you have a second car. You can use that car if something is, if you have a problem with your first car. That's alternate. And if you look at these word endings at the top of the chart, there's able and airy and ibble and ickle and if and us and some. So the problem was, and we see the answer here, okay, is that which endings can you attach to this word? And the only possibility here is if, alternative, which changes alternate from an adjective, alternate car, to a noun. Like if you say, which means like a choice, like a second choice. Remember, alternate car means like maybe backup car or second car or another car that I can use. That's an adjective, but alternative is a noun. If I say we need an alternative, that means we need a second option, and it's a noun, it's a thing. It's not a description. Namgyen has a question with alternative. Yes, if you want to ask a question about alternative, please, I encourage you to make a question about that. So please go ahead and write whatever question you have about that word. And while we're waiting for Namgyen's question, we will move on to another word here, which is caution. Probably, depending on your level, you probably know this word because it's a pretty common word, pretty frequently used word, caution. What do you think that means, caution? Where am I? Okay. Caution means being careful. Let's see. I've heard a lot of terms, alternative ending for a movie. This is Namgyen's question. I've heard a lot about the term alternative ending for a movie. Is alternative also considered an adjective here? Yes, it is an adjective because ending is a noun. And what does alternative mean? It means like a second option. So if you have an if you have an alternative ending, that's like a second ending, a different ending. Alternative in a way means different here, like a second choice ending for a movie. Oh, well, that's funny because in the... Oh, I see why you're asking that question now. Yes, alternative can also be an adjective. Let's put that here. Sometimes nouns can be adjectives. Have you ever noticed that? Like, let's see, let's think of a different example. Like, for example, work. Work is a noun, but you could use it as an adjective. Like, these are my work clothes. That means like the clothes I wear when I work. So sometimes you can put a noun in front of another noun and it becomes an adjective. Okay, so this is tricky. All right, now we have the word caution, which is a noun. And can you think, if you look at this box, which words do you think, which endings do you think we could add to caution? We came up with two. There were two endings that we could put here. So caution is a noun, it's a thing. You need to use caution when driving. So it's a noun here, it's a thing. How about Can you think of any other ending here? Because I think there are two here that we could use. I'm just going to put them up here. Let's see. And those two endings are cautionary and oh. Why didn't I have the other word up here? Oh, and cautious. There it is. Cautious. So cautious means being careful. If I say he is a cautious person, that means he's a careful person. But cautionary is like a warning. It's almost like precaution. So a cautionary word is a word to warn someone. A cautionary measure, that's an action to avoid problems. So there are actually two endings here. Being cautious means being careful, and being cautionary has this idea of being careful to avoid something, maybe we could say. Okay, let's take a look at the next word. Which is collapse. And this is kind of interesting because my student was familiar with this word collapse. Are you familiar with the word collapse? Do you know that word, collapse? Collapse. What does that mean, collapse? That's when something falls down. So, and this is how my student knew the word collapse. When you see that word, you kind of think, oh, that's a very negative word, because it's used in some pretty bad situations. Let me show you some pictures here. So these are collapsed buildings. So when buildings go like this, they're up like this and then they go down, that's a collapsed building. So it's really thought of in a very negative way, a collapsed building. Okay, so that's how he knew it, as being a very bad, negative sort of thing. And it is. But what ending do you think, if you know that word, which ending do you think that we could put after the word collapse? Any idea? Well, here, I'll give you the answer. And this is not a bad thing. It's a very convenient thing, actually. Collapsible. And that able means can. So when you say collapsible, that means can collapse, can go down, can become smaller. And let me show you some examples of collapsible. It's a very handy thing. Okay, for example, I have two dogs, and sometimes we go for a walk. And if we go for a walk, I take something like this. This is a bowl where I can put water. But if I'm carrying, it's collapsible, so that means you can make it very flat. And that's very convenient for carrying, walking around. But then when I need to use it, I can open it and pour water. This is a collapsible bowl. Let's take a look at another example here. A collapsible chair. So actually, when you add a bowl to collapse, it becomes a very positive thing, a very convenient thing. These are collapsible chairs because you can make them from big to go flat. Collapsible. These are collapsible items. So it's not bad at all. It's a very convenient thing to have a collapsible chair or a collapsible bowl. Okay, now let's move on to our next word, which it's a pretty advanced word. If you don't speak a language that comes from Latin, you may not recognize this word, and that is detest. 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 That is a word, comes from Latin, and it means hate. So in English, we already have a word, hate. but you can use detest. It sounds a little bit fancier. Latin words usually sound fancier than Germanic words. And I think detest is stronger than hate. So if you detest something, you really hate it very strongly. Oh, and I'll just give you the answer, because if you don't already know the word, I mean, if you know the word from because you speak French or Spanish or Italian, then you probably already know the ending. And if you don't speak a Latin language, you probably wouldn't guess the suffix, which is able. So detestable means like easy to hate. Something very easy to hate. Right? Because that means can hate. A detestable person. A person who's very easy to hate. That's really what it means. Okay, let's take a look at the next word that we have. And that word is honor. And there were actually two different endings that we can put after honor from this chart. Okay, so can you guess which ones, or do you know which two suffixes, which two endings we can use with honor? One of them I think is pretty common, and you probably know it, and the other one maybe is not so common, and you probably don't know it. Well, the easy one is honorable. So that means just like detestable means easy to hate, honorable means easy to honor, easy to respect. But the other word is honorary. Honorary. And the word honorary, when we were talking about this the other day, actually, honorary, I was thinking maybe honorary, you should think of honorary means like not really. So if something is, like if you're the honorary member of a club, they accept you like a member, but you're not really a member. That's why it's honorary. They're giving you the same privileges, but you didn't earn it. Sometimes universities, they will give a very respected person, a very famous person, an honorary degree, like an honorary PhD. That means you didn't do the work. You didn't do what a PhD student normally does. You didn't go through the process. You didn't really earn a PhD, but they're giving it to you anyway because for some reason they think you deserve it. Nam Gen says, can honorable be used for a person? It's mostly used for people. An honorable person is someone who deserves respect. So if you say that somebody is honorable, that means you should respect that person. They act in a good way. They act in a very good way. A way that deserves honor. Okay, let's move on to the next word here. And you might be familiar with this word. It's a pretty common word. Labor. What does labor mean? Labor. If you're familiar with this word, then you know that it means work. It's a Latin word, actually, for work. We're talking about work. And the ending, can you identify any ending that maybe we could use here for that? The ending that you could use here is laborious. Laborious. Let me put that up here. Laborious. That means working very hard. If somebody is a laborious person, it means they work very hard. If I say, here's an example. If I say, this morning I have been very laborious. This morning I have been very laborious. That means this morning I have been working very hard. I've been doing many different activities. I've been doing a lot of work. Let's see. Okay, our next word, and this word is not something people typically know. So if you have very very advanced vocabulary, maybe you have seen this word. But most people, even if they're advanced, they still don't know this word, which is loathe. Loathe. And again, that is a word that means hate. Very strong hate. Namgyen says, oh, is laborious like hardworking and productive? Yes, that's exactly what it is. So if you're a laborious person, you're productive, you're hardworking, something like that. Something to do with work, doing a lot of work. So this word loathe, it's a very strong word for hate. And if you don't know that word, you probably won't guess the ending. But which ending do you think that we could use here? Now that in the original exercise, we only attached one ending to here, but I almost wonder if you could say loathable. That's not the answer, but I wonder if you could say that, loathable. That means like easy to hate. But really, the answer is loathsome. 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 And that means somebody easy to hate. A loathsome person is a person who's easy to hate. We practice using the word loathe just a little bit, since that was a new word for him. See, when JL, that's my student, I said, what is something you really hate so much? And he said, well, when I was a little kid, I hated vegetables. So we just, really hated vegetables. I think most children do. So I said, when JL was a kid, he loathed vegetables. That's a very strong hate. That's what loathe means. Very strong hate. And then we have this other example. He is a loathsome person, which means he's somebody very easy to hate. It's very easy to hate him. And it doesn't have to be about people. I could say, I find parties loathsome. That means I really, really hate parties. Loathe is a very strong word for hate. Okay, we continued doing these endings, but as part of an exercise in a book. I think it would be hard to repeat this without the material. We can't really use the material, but we can just go through the words. So we're not using that box of endings anymore. But let's just go through these words. We've got hypocrisy. And do you know what hypocrisy is? Have you seen that word before? Hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is when you say one thing, but you do the opposite. So that would be like, imagine you're smoking cigarettes and you tell your child, don't smoke while you're smoking a cigarette. That's being hypocritical. You're telling people, don't do it, but you're doing it. That's what being a hypocrite is. That's hypocrisy. And you can use different endings, but we just chose endings that would fit the story that we were reading, the article that we were reading. So, Namgyen says, fake. It is fake. That's usually saying something is hypocritical is always negative, because you're saying what you're telling the other person. You say one thing and you do a different thing. That's what being a hypocrite is, and that is fake. That is fake. I don't think that Namgyen is saying, is it about morality? It could be about morality, but I don't think that it has to be about morality. Maybe. Wait, let's see. I'm curious. I never thought about that. Is it about morality? But it almost seems like it could be. I'm going to ask ChatGPT. Not that it knows, but let's see. So I'm asking ChatGPT, is hypocrisy about morality? According to ChatGPT, yes. Yes, it is about morality. I don't know, but do you consider smoking to be immoral? I guess the immoral part is telling people one thing but doing the opposite. That's kind of immoral in a way. So maybe. Okay. But let's just keep going down this list very quickly. Maybe you don't know these words, so it's a good idea to just review them. So we've got philosophy. So that's you've got philo, which is like lover or friend, and Sophy is knowledge. So that's like a lover of knowledge, a friend of knowledge, and that's a collection of ideas. Philosophy, but philosophical is an adjective that you can use for that. Oh, Namgen says sorry for making. No, he says sorry for making it complicated. No, that's okay. I every time I do a class, I learn something new, and now I know that if I'm going to explain hypocrisy, there is an idea of morality in it. So now I'm a little bit smarter thanks to you. Okay, let's go to the next one. Repel. Do you know maybe you don't know the word repel, but you probably know the word attract. So attract means like things come towards you. Repel is the opposite of attract. Things go away from you. So when you repel something, you're making it go away. And the adjective repulsive means disgusting. It means, ugh, I don't want that near me. That's disgusting. I hate that. So repulsive food, repulsive smell, something you don't want to be near. You want it to go away because it's disgusting. It's horrible. That's repulsive. Okay, we have tenacity, which means like not quitting, not giving up. And then we have the adjective version, which is tenacious. Okay, and then I'm just going through these quickly because we don't have the story to go with it, so there's not much to say about it at this point. So we have theater, which is a place where you go to watch things, and theatrical. You could use it literally, meaning it's something that happens in a theater. You can also use it in an abstract way, which maybe means dramatic. So if somebody is a very theatrical person, they're a very dramatic person. They like a lot of color, a lot of attention, something like that. Okay. Now we have virtue. Virtue is, I guess we can say good things, good practices. And a virtuous person is a person who only does good things, never does bad things. Okay, and then we've got volunteer, which is a verb, and then we have voluntary, which is an adjective. And I think let's stop there. And actually, that was the end of that class. Okay, so now we're moving on to another class. A very advanced woman. She's from China. Very, very advanced. And mostly she wants to improve her pronunciation, most of all. So this next section, I know we're going to focus very much on pronunciation. But also, we were talking about verb tenses a little bit, and some phrasal verbs. And a couple of other things. So let's compare these 6 sentences. Number 1 through 6. Let's just read through them. She lived in London. Okay, that's sentence number 1. And then we've got sentence number 2. She has lived in London. What is the difference between number 1 and number 2? Now you might say, oh, that number 1 is simple past and number 2 is present perfect. Okay, that's great. You know the names. But what is the difference in the idea between number 1 and number 2? I think I'll just write something here. Okay, number 1 is closed. Number 1 is closed. That means that it doesn't have any connection to now. It's something that happened in the past, and there's no connection to it now. It's finished. It's done. It's closed. No connection to the present. Number 2 starts in the past, but then it's still open. Okay? it doesn't mean that it's happening now. If I say she has lived in London, she does not live there now. It's clear that she does not live there now. It just means she did it in the past, and for some reason it's open. Maybe in the future it could happen again. It's open. Now, if we look at number 3, she has been living in London. And by the way, the whole point of this is we're going to practice for a minute the future perfect. Okay, these are the present perfects. She has lived in London, that's present perfect. That means starting in the past, connection, open. Let's just say open. Starting in the past and open. Okay. Future perfect, I'll explain it in a minute, but that's where we're going with this, is future perfect. Okay, now if we look at number 3, she has been living in London. Okay, what do you think about that? Is that open or closed? Because I think it's a good idea if you think about verbs as being open or closed. What about that one? Number 1 is closed. She lived in London. Number 2 is open. She has lived in London. That present word, has, that makes it open. So the been, or the lived part means it started in the past, and the has part means that it's still open. It doesn't mean now, but it means starting in past, open. Has lived, has open, lived, started in past. Okay, but so I asked the question, she has been living in London. Is it open or closed? And Nam Gyen says open, I guess. And you're right. You don't have to guess, Nam Gyen, because if you have the present has, that means it's open. Okay. If you said, let's see, Maya continues living in London, right? Yeah, this is the difference. This is the difference, okay? Because if you say, we've got a new element. Okay, number 2 is has lived. That means starting in past, lived, has, open. Okay, but we have a new element in number 3. We have has, that means open. We have been, that means started in past. And then we have ing, we have living. When you see ing in a verb, that means in the moment. Okay? If you say was living, that's a past moment. If you say is living, that's a now moment, present moment. Okay, so which moment are we talking about now? If I say she has been living in London, which moment is that a past moment or is that a now moment? It's a now moment because of has. So we have 3 elements in verb 3. Okay, we have open, has, we have been, starting in past, and we have living, ing, in the moment. And because of the has, that's the now moment. So what is the difference between number 3 and number 2? In number 2, she is not in London now. She does not live there now. But in number 3, she does live there now. It's very clear that she does live there now. All right, so that's verb number 3. Now let's take a look at number 4. She is living in London. Okay, what time period is this? She is living in London. That's now. You have the present is, and you have the ing, which means in the moment. So this is clearly the now moment. Okay, but now what is the difference between number 3 and number 4? There's just a little bit of a difference. Nam Gyen says 2 is finished, 3 is still living there. 2 is not finished. It's just not happening now. It's open. So maybe it could happen later again. That's the difference. So it's not exactly finished. It's a little bit unclear where it is. It's not happening now, but it isn't finished. That's number 2. It's open. I think the best word to describe it is open. She has lived in London. It started in the past. it's not happening now, but it's not finished. Maybe it's not finished. We don't know. That's why I think open is the best word for this situation. What is the difference, though, between number 3, she has been living in London, and number 4, she is living in London? I think that number 3 sounds more temporary because you're including a little bit of the past, you're including now, and there's a little doubt about the future. So it makes it sound like, oh, maybe she'll leave soon. And number 4 is just focusing on now. Okay, there's no other information about it. We don't know about the past, we don't know about the future. You're just talking about now. Namgyen says 3 emphasizes the moment, and 2 is more about the duration of long time from past to now. Well, I like what you said about number 3, that 3 emphasizes the moment, but it also tells us it was different in the past, and maybe it will be different in the future. That's number 3. She has been living. So it was different in the past. She at some point she moved to London. She's there now, and it's open, so it seems like probably she'll move again. And what was it that you said? But number 2, it just means it happened before, and it has the potential to happen again. It's open. Okay, so we've got number 3, which focuses on it was different before, she's living there now, it will probably be different later. Then we have number 4, which just means right now, living in London, and that's very limited information. Okay, and then we have a future tense, which is she will live in London. Okay. I don't think that needs very much explanation, but if you have questions about will, you feel free to ask. It's perfectly fine. I'll be happy to answer anything. Okay. But now, let's look at number 6. Okay, this is a combination of the future and the perfect tense. So we know that if we're using present perfect, let's say present perfect, we have she will have lived in London. So we have 3 elements, okay? We have lived, starting in past, have, open. That's what have means here. Lived, starting in past, have, open, will, future, okay? And just like if you say she has lived in London, you can tell me when it starts, okay? But you can't talk about finishing it. This is number 2 we're talking about, okay? If you say number 2, you can tell me when it starts. I'll put a time expression here to make it clear. Since 2020, okay? So you see that you can tell me when it starts if you use number 2, present perfect, has lived. She has lived in London since 2020. This is when the action started. Okay, but you cannot talk about finishing it because it's open. Oh, I'm just reading Nam Gyen's question. 4 and 3. She has been living in London. That's number 3. 4. She is living in London. Okay, well, the difference between she has been living and she is living is when you say number 3, you're focusing, you're telling me it was different in the past, it will probably be different in the future. So the been part means it started in the past. The has part means it's open. I don't know about the future. I don't know how the future will be. That's why if you use has, you're saying, I don't know what's happening later about this. So has been, that means starting in past. I don't know about the future, but right now, maybe if we say these in different words, okay? So I'll read number 3. she has been living in London. Let's say this a different way. Wait, actually, I'll type it out. This is funny. Let's see. She didn't live in London in the past, but she lives there now. I am not sure where she will live in the future. Okay. If you use present perfect progressive, where is it? Oh no, I made a lot of typing mistakes. I have to, every time, I type all day long, but it doesn't matter. I still always make so many mistakes every single time. Let me fix my problems here. Okay. When you say number 3, what you're really saying is, oh, she didn't live, oh, God. There we go. Hopefully no more problems here. Okay, if you say number 3, she has been living in London, you're including a little bit of the past. You're including, I don't know what will happen in the future. And you're also saying right now, it's true. Okay, so by using this verb tense, you're saying she didn't live in London in the past, but she lives there now, and I'm not sure where she will live in the future. So it sounds very temporary. It just sounds like it started in the past, it's happening now, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. So there's kind of a doubt to it, like who knows how it will change later. But if you say number 4, that just means right now. That's what number 4 means. Okay, now let's go back to... Okay, so no, let's look at number 2. She has lived in London since 2020. You can use since. You can tell me when it started, because that's what present perfect means. It means it started in the past, and somehow it's still open. Okay, so you cannot talk about when something finished, because present perfect is open. You can only tell me when it starts. Future perfect is like the mirror reflection of that. So if you say, I will have finished the project, let's write that. I have some other things written here. I don't want you to see it yet. Okay, let's look at, we don't need to make a new sentence. Let's just look at number 6. Number 6 means she will have lived in London by next year. Okay, so this is like a mirror reflection of present perfect. I don't know when it's starting. I only know when it finishes. Namgen says, number 2, it started in 2020, but not sure about now and future. That's right. That part is unclear because it's open. Okay, we know when it started. She has lived in London since 2020. We know it started in 2020, but it's open. It's very unclear what's happening now or in the future about that. It's open. I think open is really the best way to think about the perfect tenses, or the present perfect tenses. But now in number 6, she will have lived in London. It's like a mirror opposite of number 2, okay? We know when it finishes, but it's not clear when it starts. The starting point is open, but the ending is very clear. So if you say she will have lived in London by next year, we know it finishes next year. It's just not clear when it starts. Okay, is that pretty clear? Does that make sense? That's the open part. It's like if you put a mirror in front of number 2, you see the opposite thing. The beginning is open, but the end is clear. That's the future perfect tense. Okay, now let's practice using this a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to give you a sentence. Okay, and we're going to practice phrasal verbs and Uh, wait, where did I go? Okay, so we'll practice some phrasal verbs and using for future perfect and also a couple of other things in this exercise. Okay, so I'm going to give you a sentence, which is, does number 6, Maya is asking, does number 6 mean that she is going to leave London? No, Maya, it's the opposite. It means right now she is not in London, but definitely by next year she will be. Okay, we know when the action finishes. Well, completes. Maybe finish is a bad word here. So if you say she will have lived in London by next year, it means definitely next year she will live in London. But we don't know when it's going to start. Maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, maybe in 5 months. We don't know. The opening part is unclear. But we know definitely by next year, deadline next year, she lives in London. That's the purpose of this. So in present perfect, you know when it starts, you're not sure about the finishing. In future perfect, you know when it finishes, but you're not sure when it starts. Okay, so I'm going to make a sentence with a phrasal verb. This has a phrasal verb in it. John breaks in the trainees. John breaks in the trainees. John breaks in the trainees. Do you know that phrasal verb, break in? Break in. When I was doing this class, she said, oh yeah, I know break in. That's like the robbers come to the bank and they break the window or they break the door and they enter. That's true. Break in does mean that you force entry into a place, but also break in means something else. You know, I guess I have very strange feet, because when I buy new shoes, for the first 1 or 2 weeks, my shoes are extremely uncomfortable. They hurt. My feet hurt. They give me a lot of problems. It takes about maybe 2 weeks of wearing the shoes to become comfortable in them. Do you have that problem too? When you buy new shoes, the first 1 or 2 weeks are very uncomfortable. They hurt your feet. But then after 2 or 3 weeks, they become more comfortable. Break in means like become more comfortable. Become more comfortable. Well, let's put break in here. Break in. Maybe you could think about this like an adjustment period. So why is that? When you buy new shoes, they're very uncomfortable for, I don't know, 1 or 2 weeks. But as you wear them, the shoes begin to form around your feet. They become more comfortable. This is a period where you and the shoes are becoming more comfortable. This is break in. This is a break in period. This is a period where things become more comfortable, where you start to fit. So what do you think that means? John breaks in the trainees. John breaks in the trainees. Now, depending on your job, I know a lot of people, especially like in IT, it's very difficult when you start a new job because you have to learn what is the company doing, how does the team work. Namgyen says John feels more comfortable with the trainees. Reverse it, Namgyen. John is helping the trainees become more comfortable. He's like a teacher. He must be some kind of teacher, helping them to become more comfortable in their new job. To break in it's just like breaking in the shoes. Your feet don't change the shape, your shoes change shape. When you break in the shoes, you're making the shoes fit your foot. And John is making the employees fit the company. He's making them more comfortable with their job. That's what it means. So John must be some kind of teacher or trainer. Does that make sense? It's a pretty common phrasal verb to use in this way, not just for robbers who want to go in your house and take your things. It also means make something adjust, make something change, to feel more comfortable. Okay, now there is a focus on pronunciation here, because this is one of the main things that she wants to improve. She actually speaks, her pronunciation is actually pretty good already, but she wants to improve it even more. Okay, so now we have these two words. Oh, I just want to isolate this so it's easier for you to see. So we'll make this the two bottom things. Okay, so these are two different words that we have here. We've got number one and number two. Do you know that word number one? It's a pretty common thing, but it's not surprising if you don't know what it is. Let me just show you a picture of what number one is. These are bricks. This is word number one, is a brick. These are bricks. Now let's take a look at the difference in pronunciation. Okay. And let's talk about physically, let's talk about how they're different. Okay. The first difference between number one and number two is the duration of the sound. So when you say number one, brick, brick, that's a very short sound. It's not long. Brick. Let's compare that to number two. Break, break, break. You hear the difference? Number one, brick. Number two, break. So the first difference is the duration of the time. Brick, break. Can you hear the difference? I'm exaggerating, but can you hear the difference? Okay, here's another difference. Number one is the kind of sound that you eat. Okay, so when you say brick, you should feel the air going down. You should feel a little muscle here going down. Brick, brick. You should be pushing down when you say that word. You eat that word. Brick, brick, brick. That's difference number two, because in word number two, you have to push it out very strongly. You have to push it out. Break. You feel air coming up and going out of your mouth. Break. Break. So here are two differences, physical differences between number one and number two. Number one is short, brick. Number two is long, break. Number one you eat, brick. Number two you push out, break. Break. You should feel air coming out when you say number two. Here's one more difference. One more difference between number one and number two. Number one is a very pure sound. Not much happening there. Number two is a more complex sound. It has like three sounds in it. Break. That's like three different sounds. Break. It's three sounds. And the last two sounds, you really push out air. Break. 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 That's number two. Brick. Brick. That's number one. So three big differences right there. I wish I could hear you practicing. I love to hear you practicing. Okay, let's see. Let's go back. So this is not brick in, but break in. Break. You've got to feel it push out. It's a very strong push. Okay. Now let's go back to the exercise. Okay, and first let me... Oh, what happened? Sorry, I'm getting lost. I don't want you to see the answer because I want you to think about the answer. So I have to take the answer off of the screen. Okay. Where are we? See, we were talking about breaking in the shoes. You always use break in when you're talking about shoes. A break in. Do you know what a break in period is at work? That would be like a period where they understand that you're new. They don't expect you to do 100% of the job. They know that you have to learn things and get comfortable with things. So usually, if you have a complicated job, maybe it would take 2 or 3 months break-in period. A period where they don't expect you to do everything because you don't understand the way the company works. So it's a period of becoming comfortable. Okay, but so we have this sentence. John breaks in the trainees. John breaks in the trainees, which means he's helping them to become more comfortable with their job. John breaks in the trainees. Now, if we add the time expression by February, okay, you could just say John will break in the trainees by February. But if you want to place a lot of emphasis on the time, like, well, I know it finishes in February, but it's not clear. The beginning of the process is not very clear. We can use the future perfect tense. Using will, how will you change that sentence using the future perfect tense? John breaks in the employees by February. Let's change break in to future perfect using will. John will have. So will, that's future, have, that's the open part. And John will have broken in. Okay, Namgyen says John will have broken in by February. One problem is that when you say break in, it means make something more comfortable. Okay? Make something more comfortable. You always must use an object when you use break in, and it means make comfortable. Because remember, break in means other things, and it doesn't need an object. But here, break in means make something more comfortable. Make something adjust. You have to name that thing. You cannot omit that. So you have to say, John will have broken in the employees by February. Otherwise, the idea is not complete. But you're right. You're right. It's he will have broken in the trainees. He will have broken in the trainees. Okay, so then we get to some interesting problems here. So let's put the answer up here. Yeah, Maya says, will have broken in his trainees. Yes, except Maya, you have to also use a subject. You also have to name the person who's doing it. In English, some languages you don't have to do that, but in English you always name a subject. So you must say he will have. He will have broken in his trainees. That would be okay, yes. Okay. So here's our answer. He will have broken in the trainees. Now, this is a separable phrasal verb, okay? That means that you can put the object inside the verb. You can do the inside position. So also, you can say, he will have broken the trainees in. He will have broken the trainees in. That's the inside position. So there are two ways that you can say this. He will have broken in the trainees, or he will have broken the trainees in. Two different options. Okay. Which creates a problem. Because when I was doing the class, let me just bring this up here. She said, oh, so the reason we were talking about this, break the trainees in, break in the trainees, is because she wanted to use the substitution word. She wanted to use them. And what she said was, he will have broken in them. Okay? But actually, that is the one thing you cannot say. Okay? So if you look at all of these options, 1, 2, 3, and 4, let's read them. He will have broken in the trainees. That's okay. You can say it like that. Number 2, he will have broken the trainees in. That is also correct. That is fine. You can say that. You can say number 4, he will have broken them in. Okay, that's okay. But you cannot say number 3. You cannot say he will have broken in them. So if you are naming the thing, if you give me the name of the noun, the trainees, you have 2 options. He will have broken in the trainees, or he will have broken the trainees in. Okay, but if you use the pronoun and the verb is separable, meaning you can separate the 2 words, the object must be inside the verb. So you must say he will have broken them in. That's a really annoying, complicated thing about English. But so we're just reviewing that little rule right now. Okay. All right. Now again, the focus here, we were practicing future perfect, but we're really practicing the pronunciation mostly. Okay. And she was having a difficult time with the word trainees. And if I say that word, trainees, what do you think about those 2 vowel sounds? Are they long sounds or are they short sounds? Is it trainees or is it trainees? It's very long. Maya, I don't know, are you Russian or Ukrainian? I see that you're using the Cyrillic. I know that Russians and Ukrainians, because I have some Russian and Ukrainian students, they do not like to say big E's at the end of words. So a Russian or a Ukrainian would probably say something like trainees. But that's a short sound, and you have to make it long. You have to say trainees. It's a big sound. Remember the difference between brick, and break. And trainees, these are sounds you push out. You make them long in duration, long in time. Trainees. Not trainees, but trainees. Okay, now let's take a look at our answer. We have, he'll have broken in the trainees by February. Okay, now you can make a contraction with he will. He will. He'll have. He'll have broken in. He'll have broken in the trainees by February. And that's a perfectly acceptable contraction that you can write if you want. You can write that if you like. But in spoken English, that have, the perfect have, always sounds like of in spoken conversation. So if you're talking to someone, it will sound like this. It will sound like he'll have broken in the trainees by February. This is how it sounds when people talk. You cannot write this. Don't ever write this. But this is how it sounds when people are talking. That sounds like the word of, and it's he'll have broken the trainees in by February. Okay, now, unfortunately, it gets more complicated than that because when we're talking, we get super lazy. And he'll have becomes hilla. So in a conversation, maybe you'll hear he'll have broken in the trainees, or maybe you'll hear he'll have broken in. He'll have broken in the trainees by February. I think that's probably how I would say it. He'll have broken in the trainees by February. It's bad English, but unfortunately, this is how people talk. You cannot write that, okay? Never write that. This is just spoken English. Okay, and in this exercise, we were also practicing these phrases that add doubt. So if I say this phrase, or so he thinks, that phrase, or so he thinks, or so he believes, or so he says, that means He says it, but I don't believe him. I don't think it's possible. So this is a way that you can add doubt to something that's happening. So John will have broken in the trainees by February. Or so he thinks. That means, well, he thinks that, but I don't know. I don't think that it's possible. Or you can say, or so he believes. Namgyen says goodbye. Thanks for watching, Namgyen. I hope that you come back soon and watch more videos. Thank you. And thank you for participating and asking questions. I really appreciate that. So he'll have broken the trainees in by February. Or so he says. That means he says it, but I don't think so. I don't think it's possible. Okay, so let's see. Where are we going with this? Okay, how would you make a yes/no question with this sentence? So, he will have broken in the trainees by February. How will you ask a yes/no question with that sentence? Will he have broken in the trainees? Will he have broken in the trainees by February? Will he have broken in the trainees by February? Let's answer no. No, he will. No, he will not. No, he won't. No, he won't have. No, he won't have. No, he won't. No, he won't have broken in the trainees by February. No, he won't have broken in the trainees by February. Okay, I think let's stop. That's really kind of the end of that class. There were a couple of more things, but I think that's pretty much the end of that class. And I think, is this the final class? I don't know. But again, this is an advanced person. This is a new class. Very advanced person. And we were focusing mostly on pronunciation. Okay, that's all we focused on, really, was maybe pronunciation and some vocabulary, some advanced vocabulary. And she is in the medical field. She's a researcher. So we were reading an article, like a medical research article, but only to focus on pronunciation. Okay, so that's what we'll do for the next part of this class, is we're just focusing on pronunciation. So let's look at this phrase. Brain scans also show. Brain scans also show. Let's look at that. Let's look at these two words. Brain scans. Brain scans. Brain scans. What do you think about those vowel sounds? Brain scans. Do you think those are short sounds? Remember the difference between brick and break. Very different. Do you think the length of those sounds are the same? What do you think? Brain, that's long. That's a very long sound. So you shouldn't say brain, brain. That would be difficult to understand. It's actually two sounds. It's e, brain, brain. So it's not brain, it's brain. Think about the next word, scans. Scans. Do you think that's a long sound or a short sound? It's very long. It's several sounds, actually. And if you try to say it in a very short way, skins, brigskin, brinskins, brinskins, that would be hard to understand because it's not brinskins, it's brain scans. Okay, now this letter, this a sound, it could be different depending on if you're talking to somebody from the UK or Australia or the United States. I can only tell you the way I pronounce it, which is from North America, from the United States. And it's like three sounds. Scans. It's like four sounds, really. Scans. Scans. Brain scans. Now let's look at the next word. Also, also, also. That's two vowel sounds. What do you think about the length of the sounds? Think about the length of the vowel sounds. Also. I think that the first one could be long or short. It doesn't matter. Also. Also. I think it's short. Let's say it's short. What about the second sound? So. So. In a lot of languages, when you see that O, it's pronounced in a very short way. So. So. Also. But not in English. It's a very long, very big sound. It's two sounds. It's O, oo. So. See how I give a kiss at the end? So. You have to give a kiss when you say also. So let's say all three words together. Brain scans also. Make sure that you're saying those vowel sounds in a very long way. I swear this is like the magic key to English pronunciation because most people have this problem. And if you're having problems being understood and you realize this and you start to change this, you will see an enormous difference in how well people understand you. It's like a little secret. Oh, I'm going to cut this video up later, and I think I will call this pronunciation secrets, because it's like my little secret pronunciation key. Brain scans also, and then we have the word show. What do you think about that final vowel sound? Is that a big sound or a short sound? It's a very long sound. It's two sounds. Again, it's O. It's O. It's not O. It's O. Brain scans also show. You have to take your time when you're saying the long vowel sounds. Now let's take a look at the next phrase. That when people, I'm just thinking about this with you. I have to think about it too. What do you think about the vowel sound there? Is that long or short? It's short. When. What do you think about when? This is more complicated because W is actually a vowel sound. So if you just had EN, N, that would be very short. But we're putting UN in front of it. We're putting a big oo sound in the front. UN. So this is a very long vowel sound in front of the N. That when people, what do you think about that? People. That's very long. People. That when people, brain scans also show that when people, can you say all of that? Focusing on the vowel sounds and the duration of the vowel sounds. Brain scans also show that when people, you have to pay attention to the vowel sounds. You definitely do. Are given. Are given. Are given. Are given. That's short. Are is short. Are given. It's not big. It's not are. It's just are. What about given? Given. I think normally I is a very short sound. But here, the accent falls on I, so it becomes long. So it's unnaturally long. Given. So that's long, short. Are given. You hear that? Can you hear how give becomes very long? Give. So it's not give. It's give. You have to imagine you're saying an H. You're pushing air out. Given. That's what makes it long. That push. Are given. Placebo. What do you think about that word? Placebo. Are those long sounds or short sounds? Pla. That's short. Pla. What about placebo? Oh, that's so long. That's extremely long. Placebo. And then O, that's always long. because it's two sounds. Oh, placebo, placebo. Are given placebo. Let's try all of the phrases so far. Brain scans also show that when people are given placebo, you see, it's very important to identify the length of the vowel sound if you want to improve your pronunciation. Here is another word, painkillers. Let's start with killer. Ki. Ki. What is that? Is that short or long? Ki. What about lur? Lur. Those are two short sounds. Killers. Killers. What about pain? Pain. That's very long. Painkillers. 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 Okay, let's move on to the next phrase here. The brain actually produces. The brain. The brain. The brain. Da. That's very short. Da. Da. What about brain? Oh, that's so big. That's like 3 or 4 sounds. Brain. Brain. The brain. What about the next word? Actually. Actually. Ek. Ek. Is that long or short? Ek. Actual. So we've got ek, that's short, but then we have shul or chul. Actual. Actual. That's very long. That's several sounds. Chul. Chul. Actual. 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 How about that ending? Li. Is it li? Is it actually? Or is it actually? Oh, it's long. It's very long. It's like E 3 times. Actually. 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 How about the next word? Produces. Produces. Pra. Pra. That's short. Pra. Deuces. Deuces. That's long. Short, long. Produce. Says. Says. That's short. The brain actually produces. The brain actually produces. Okay, let's take a look at the next word. Natural. Nah. Nah. What do you think about that sound? Nah. Nah. That's very long. Nah. It's not net. It's not natural. It's natural. It's very long. What about cure? Cure. Natural. That's very long. What about roll? Roll. Natural. That's short. So that's long, long, short. Natural. Natural. Natural painkillers. We already did painkillers. Painkillers. Long, short, short. Painkillers. Natural painkillers. Okay, well, let's read what we have so far. Okay, so let's read everything, and focusing on the length, the duration of the vowel sound. Brain scans also show that when people are given placebo painkillers, I just broke something. Oh no. Okay, painkillers. The brain actually produces natural painkillers. All right, let's take a look at the next phrase. I wish I could hear you practicing. I would love to hear how you're saying this. Just as if it would. Just as it would if. Just as it would if. Just. Just. What do you think about that sound? Just. 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 Is that long or short? Just. It's long. There's something long about that. Just. Just. How about as it? As it. Just as it. Just as it. Just as it. Just I think that's long. Just as. Because it's not is, it's as. Just as. Just as. Too long. What about it? It. That's short. So that's long, long, short. Long, long, short. Just as it. Just as it. Just as it would. Okay, now this word would, it must be very long because it starts with a W. Would. It's at least two sounds. Would. Would. Just as it would. Just as it would. If. What about that word if? That's short. Just as it would if. Just as it would if. Just as it would if. Can you hear the length of the vowel sounds? Okay, and then we got into this discussion about pronunciation because actually the way that she was saying it, it sounded like she was saying number 2. It sounded like she was saying justice instead of number 1, which is just as. And there are a couple of big differences between number 1 and number 2. So let's look at number 1. Just as. And the first difference is the length, the duration of the vowel sounds. 2 long vowel sounds. Just as. Compare that to number 2, which is justice. Those are 2 short sounds. Justice. Can you hear the difference? Number 1, just as. Number 2, justice. The difference between those two is that number 2 is short, short. And number 1 is long, long. Just as. Just as. Number 2, justice. Can you hear the length difference? They're different. The number 2 is short, short. Number 1 is long, long. Now, another big difference, and this is a problem, she's a Spanish speaker. This is a problem for people who speak Spanish, is that number 1, that final sound is the sound of an insect. Like a bee or a mosquito. Zzz. That is the sound at the end of the phrase. Just as. It's the sound of a mosquito or a bee. Zzz. And in number 2, it is the sound of a snake. S. Justice. Listen to number 1. Just as. Number 2, justice. So number 1 is like an insect, like a mosquito or a bee. Just as. And number 2 is the sound of a snake. Justice. Now, since we're talking about pronunciation and things that sound different, let's compare how you pronounce number 2 versus number 3. Number 2, justice. Number 3, just this. The only difference is that if you're going to say number 3, there's a little different sound, but the big difference is you must pause. You must pause. You must say just this. Just stop this. Just this. Just this. Very, very short. Just this. Number 2, justice. No stopping. Number 3, just this. You have to stop if you say number 3. Okay, actually I think that we should stop here for today. I think that's enough for one day. All right, so thank you everybody who stayed and watched all this time. I'm so happy that you stayed. And I will be back a little bit later to do some readings from some books, and we can talk about vocabulary. So I will see you a little bit later today. I hope to see you a little bit later today. Goodbye.